This is the video for Tuesday, March 30th. Making a budget is easy if you only had your income and fixed expenses, but many people don't make a budget because their variable expenses make it more complicated. How can you turn your variable expenses into fixed expenses to make budgeting simpler? Well, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the basic answer here is that you are going to give yourself a category budget of your variable expenses. So for example, if you have a category of groceries, then in a month you're going to decide how much ahead of time you're going to spend on groceries, call it $300 for that month, and then you're going to put that $300 in your budget as if it was a fixed expense, but then you just make sure that you don't go over $300 during that month on grocery shopping. So that's going to be how you turn your variable expenses into fixed expenses to make it make sense. And that's also why you need to do the budget, because if you're not doing that, then you're going to have a problem because you might spend $330 instead of $300, and then that $30 has to come from somewhere else. And if you do that same thing with all your different categories, you overshoot all of your categories by 10% or so, then it's going to lose your margin and you're going to be living paycheck to paycheck. You're not going to be able to save for those long-term goals. So that's why budgeting is important, and that's how you're going to do that. You're going to take your variable expense and make it a fixed expense ahead of time by giving yourself a set budget that you can't go over during that month. All right, so we're going to do some practice here. As you read through each scenario, you're going to come up with ways that each of these three people are able to cut some expenses. So we're going to start with Nate. Nate is a junior in high school. He works 15 hours a week at the mall, and his net income after taxes is $600 a month. He lives with his parents, so he doesn't have rent, utility, or food expenses. His older brother owns a car and lets him borrow it to drive to work for $100 each month. Otherwise, Nate takes the bus. He really wants to buy a car, so he puts any leftover money towards savings. Nate also pays for his cell phone and personal expenses, such as going to the movies, buying video games, and purchasing gifts. Below is Nate's estimated budget and what he actually spent in a month's time. Analyze Nate's spending to determine why he is not on track to save for that new car and what changes he can make to get on track. Okay, so we're going to see right here, he has his budget goal is $200 a month savings for the car, but he wasn't able to save any. So where did he make a mistake? Well, he made a mistake with his cell phone, right? There's $25. He spent $25 on his cell phone when he wanted to only spend $75. That's a pretty easy one. Nate shouldn't make that mistake. You should know what your cell phone bill is, and you shouldn't have a cell phone plan that goes over your budget. So that should be an easy mistake to fix. Car payment to his brother is exactly what he expected it to be. Public transportation is a little bit more. Entertainment is a little bit more. Here's the big one. Personal shopping and occasional spending, he way overshot his budget. Okay, so he overshot his budget on personal shopping by $75 and on occasional spending by $75. So right there, he overspent by $150 of the $200 he's missing. So for scenario one there, I'm going to say that Nate overspent he overspent in the categories of personal shopping and occasional spending. And so if you were trying to tell Nate what he can do to get back on track, you would tell him to cut down on personal shopping and occasional spending. You can also cut down on entertainment, public transportation, and rebudget his cell phone so that it makes sense. But the two big ones were personal shopping and occasional spending. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. I'm not going to walk you through this one. This one's about Maria for scenario 2 here. Go ahead and pause the video so that you can look through and answer what Maria can do to get back on track. So we can see that Maria is trying to save for a house here, and she is about $300 short. So we're going to have $300 missing somewhere in here, just about. So where is it? Well, the fixed expenses are pretty similar. We've got cell phone here is a little little more expensive than she thought. I don't know what these people's problems with cell phones are. Their cell phones are not that hard. And then where is she spending extra money on here? I'll leave you to figure that out. It's pretty basic. You should be able to find it without much problem. And going to the next one. Okay, so this is scenario 3. This is Jamal. You can read Jamal's issues here and answer the question, what should Jamal do to get back on track? Okay, so Jamal is trying to save for college. He's also trying to have $25 left over at the end of every month. He's got $1,500, and then his goal is to only spend $1,475, including college savings in that. And so he's actually $50 short here on college savings and $25 short there. So he's $75 short on his $1,500. So where is Jamal losing some money? There's some money lost here on entertainment, some money lost on personal shopping, a little bit lost right here on gas. I don't know. I think I might tell Jamal to relax. I think Jamal's doing an awesome job saving $820 per month for college, and I'm not mad at Jamal for spending an extra $45 a month on personal shopping and an extra $25 a month on entertainment. I'm not mad about that. So Jamal's doing a good job. If he wants to be very particular, he could cut some money there. Okay. So all right. In your notes, we've got this part right here. You just accepted your first job, and you'll be earning a gross income of $30,000 per year. You live on your own and are responsible for all expenses, including rent, car, insurance, cell phone, utilities, food, entertainment, savings, and miscellaneous expenses. You have to pay 25% of your gross income in taxes. So with a gross income of $30,000 and a 25% tax deduction, what is your monthly net income? Remember, this is what you get after taxes. This is the number you will use for your budget. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our calculator here, and we're going to say $30,000, and we're going to pay 25% of that on a tax deduction. So you could do times 0.25 and figure out how much you're paying in taxes, or maybe a better way is to do times 0.75, and that's how much you get to keep. So you get $22,500. That is your yearly net income. But remember, we do all of our budgets based on monthly, so we're going to divide that by 12. And there we go, 1,875. So your net income per month $1,875. All right. Now, determine if your expenses are fixed or variable and write them in the appropriate sectors of the table below. Remember, your expenses include rent, car insurance, cell phone, utilities, entertainment, food, savings, and occasional spending. So you are going to take these things right here: rent, car insurance, cell phone, utilities, entertainment, food, savings, and occasional spending, and you're going to put them into here using this table right here. Okay, so rent is 30% of your net pay. That's a good approximation for what your rent should be. So if your net pay is $1,875, take $1,875 times 0.3. So our rent is going to be $562.50 per month. Is rent a fixed or a variable expense? Well, since rent is not changing one month to the next, it is going to be a fixed expense. So we're going to say rent, and then what was that? That was $562.50. Okay, and you're going to be able to do that with all of these things. What's next? Car. Okay, car payment. Car payment is. Why don't you just use these things in here? Just use this box. So we've got car loan, 10% of net pay. So remember we had 1,875. 10% of that is 187.50, that's pretty simple math. You can just go ahead and move a decimal point one. If you have problems with that, you can do times 0.1 for 10% of that, 187.50. So that's going to be car payment 187.50, and so on and so on and so on. If you add these things up, I believe that adds to 100%. Yeah, 100%. So then all of these things combined will add, once you can add up the cost in every box here on the right column, it will add up to $1,875. Very basic math. All you're doing is multiplying by a decimal point, and then adding. Very simple. And then last thing in this box, compare your expenses to your monthly income. Have you spent everything you've earned? Did you have money left over for savings? What expenses could you lower to increase your savings based on this chart? Okay, so do that, and when you are done, that is it for today.